Why do we like old film cameras? Is it because it offers more of a personal fingerprint on a media that's oversaturated these days? When everyone uses the same filters, hashtags, and popular destination locations, it's hard to feel like much is personal. The Nikon F2 is a mechanical 35mm film camera, built in a day when assistance like light metering was offered but not required. A person was expected to know their Sunny 16 rule if they wanted their images to come out, and unlike digital, there was no way to know until they were developed. When this camera came out in 1971, it cost around $660 with the kit lens, which is around $4,048 in today's money. This camera reminds me of an old Toyota Camry I had. Does it look outdated, yet still similar? Yes. Is it reliable and gets the job done? Yes. Will it impress anyone? No. But that Camry was mine, and I could depend on it. Between 1971 and 1980, they made around 816,000 of these. If you're looking for your first film camera, ask yourself, are you looking for your first film camera? Are you looking to get attention with vintage gear? Wanting to get that certain aesthetic everyone talks about? Those tones and grain that only film can provide? Or maybe you're looking to learn the old-fashioned way, a way that gives you a limited number of shots and costs a certain amount of money for each frame. Using this camera won't win you any social influencer points, like a Leica M6 will, but it will cost you around 50% of the cost and deliver subjectively the same results with the right lens. These can be had used for around $200 to $300 for good condition ones at the time of this video. The F2 weighs in at 30 ounces without the lens, which would be like holding 6.5 iPhone 6s or 5.5 Galaxy S10s in your hand. Now, shopping around, you may see this model labeled as something other than just F2. It may be labeled F2S, F2SB, F2A, F2AS. Now, basically what this means is the cameras come with different viewfinders. It comes with all the normal features you'd expect, like a self-timer, changeable eyepieces, rewind knobs, changeable viewfinders, and DOP previews. While this camera is fully manual, the only thing that isn't manual is the meter, which is powered by two A76 batteries. Should you decide to stick with Nikon and get a modern DSLR, will these lenses work? Yes. Will the newer versions work on here? Yes. Just make sure you use the right hashtag for the film you're using when posting your model portrait with neon on Instagram. I'm looking at you, Cinestill. People talk a lot about how medium format film cameras make you slow down. And while I do think that's true for the most part, I don't think it's the same with 35mm. I remember as a kid running through those 36 frames easy, mostly because I was taking bad photos of buildings or lots of underexposed photos of my friends indoors. I will admit it makes me think more critically about those frames I'm about to take as opposed to digital, and I end up getting the same percentage of good photos from a roll as I would from taking 500 with my memory card. Using cameras like these are the equivalent of using Notepad to write out your letter instead of Word, or training like Rocky in Rocky IV. Not using a manual film camera doesn't make you a Soviet Cold War photographer, but you get what you put in and nothing extra. Which lens should you get for this? The easy answer is the 50mm AI, AIS, or D lens. You can use it on any other Nikon you get aside from a few, and I think it's the best all-rounder. My next choice would be the 35mm. You can do pretty much everything aside from sports, wildlife, or landscape, unless you decide to stitch them together. What if you want this camera but a more modern version? That's the Nikon FM3A, and get ready to pay a pretty penny for one in good condition. If this were a movie, it'd be Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa. Lots of people might have seen bits of it or heard of it, and it's been copied and redone in many forms.